Insight, foresight, more sight. The clock on the wall reads midnight.
Presence. If you don't have an anchor for the present moment, the mind will very quickly come in with a thought. And that thought could be anything, but it will claim to be extraordinarily important. And it will say, follow me. You need to think about this. This requires your immediate attention at 3:30 in the morning in bed. And that thought, of course, may proliferate into other thoughts. Anxious thoughts, regretful thoughts. What if that? What about my whole life? I have to work out my life. It's all been useless. What have I done with my life? What about my life? What is my life? It's a mental construct that you call my life, and you miss the actual life in the present moment. But so you need to know that your thought it's very seductive and hypnotic, and it will come in and grab your attention again if you don't know what it's doing. But if you know that this is what it's doing, then you can say, not just say it, you can just be aware that there's another thought that wants to come in. And at that moment when there's an awareness, you don't have to follow the thought. You can just allow it to pass through your mind, and then it's gone again. And then you can say, my choice is to have my attention in the body, and you don't even have to verbalize that. The choice comes, you know that this is your choice, and then you're no longer suffering from an unpleasant, sleepless night. You're actually having a wonderful meditation and not asking that this moment should be any different from the way it is. And you sense the aliveness in your energy field. That's your life. And the present moment, the aliveness of the present moment. What is it that makes up the totality of the present moment? It is sense perceptions, feelings. There may be thoughts too, coming and going. You don't have to follow them, but they still come and go, some thoughts. And then there are spaces in between these thoughts. And this is extraordinarily important. To discover that there is such a thing in you as a space between one thought and another. So there's no longer an uninterrupted stream of thinking. Suddenly, you become aware of a space. And that feels extraordinarily good and powerful, and you feel then really you come to yourself. Not the self that has a story, not the self, the sense of self that is identified with your history, your personal history, but something that transcends your personal history, something that transcends also whatever arises in your sense perceptions. What is it, and the deepest level of now, and actually the essence of now, is this? What is it that enables you to be aware of your sense perceptions? What is it that enables you to have a thought? What is it that enables you to feel your body? So there's something else there that's not a thing, and we could call that your presence, or we could call that the space of awareness, or we could call that consciousness itself.
Midnight!
And the most wonderful thing in your meditation is the discovery of yourself, not as a person with a limited history, that dimension still exists, but there is a deeper dimension in you where whatever happened to the person, good or bad, is transcended and becomes irrelevant. A deeper sense of beingness or self, when you can realize that that which makes your sense perception possible, any thought possible, any emotion possible, is the fact that there is the light of presence in you. In that light of presence, you perceive this room. In that light of presence, a thought comes and goes. If too many thoughts come and you no longer have any gap in thoughts, the light of presence becomes obscured. It's still there, but it's like a totally cloudy day. You can't see the sun anymore. It's still filtering through, but you don't know it. All you see is the clouds. And that's normal, the destiny for millions of humans still on the planet. All they know is the stuff in their minds. The entire sense of self is derived from the stuff in their mind. Dreadful fate. But nobody tells us that it's dreadful, it's so normal. If you're born in a mental asylum, then you don't know that everybody's insane because everybody's the same. So this is what we are going beyond, is what arises, the possibility of entering a different state of consciousness, not just as an isolated experience, as a meditation practice, but to bring that, let's go back into it now, the awareness that you are aware. That sounds a little funny. Can you be aware right now that everything that you perceive or think or feel can only be there because you are there as the space for it, the space of awareness in which that arises? What does it feel like to be you without taking recourse to memory? To be you now, not remembering your story. That's only a story in the mind. But what does it feel like to be you? Now you can only, there's no conceptual answer because I'm asking about an actual experience or realization right now. Here, now. What does it feel like? What is the essence of who you are? Can you sense your own presence? Now, when I say your own, it's not totally correct. It's not yours. But let's just put it like that for a moment. Can you sense the very presence that is the essence of who you are? And it has no form. It is just spacious awareness. And that's an amazing thing, to know yourself as spacious awareness. That frees you from believing that your personal history is who you are. Because your personal history is not that great. Mine isn't. It would be frustrating if I thought of my personal history. Who I am has come about through transcending my personal history. It's not my personal history showing this great thing. No, it's realizing the the relative insignificance of my personal history. So the present, your own present. So for some people, one pointer works better than another pointer. That's why I give you a choice of pointers, so you can ask yourself, or I can ask you, are you aware, or can you be aware right now of the fact that you are aware? Can you be conscious of the fact that you are conscious? That still sounds dualistic, because I'm using language. But it's only because I'm using language. What really happens when you are aware that you are conscious is not that here is me and here is I'm aware of my consciousness, subject and object. That's not how consciously, you can't be aware of consciousness like that. You can only be aware of consciousness as yourself. As the eternal subject. Your consciousness can never become something that becomes an object in consciousness. That's everything else is an object in consciousness. But you cannot be aware of consciousness as an object, because consciousness is you, the essence of you. And that essence of you is the essence of the present moment. So when we go to the deepest level of the present moment, when you go to the deepest level of the present moment, what do you find and what do you discover? Yourself. The essence of you. So the essence of you, which is conscious space, is inseparable from the essence of the present moment. You become conscious with your entire body.